pack your things. Pei Dongjun's hand was on another woman's waist when he said it. On Yisol, the model, the upgrade. Raina Mitchell watched her 3-year relationship get replaced in real time. She moves in tonight. You are useful, but I need someone from my world now. Useful. After restructuring his entire empire, after learning Korean for him, after 3 years of being his secret, Raina grabbed her suitcase. You're making a mistake. I'm correcting one. What Pei Dongjun didn't know, Raina had a Monday meeting with the investment firm controlling his $200 million deal. As their new senior partner, in charge of approving him, he just threw away the only person who could save him. Now, before we continue, I need to know who I'm talking to, because this story is about to get deep, and I only want people here who understand that disrespecting someone's worth is never acceptable. So, if you believe people like Dongjun deserve to face consequences for how they treat others, hit that subscribe button right now. Only people who think treating others like they're disposable is okay won't subscribe to Ebony and Pearl stories. Comment karma is coming if you're ready to see this man get exactly what he deserves. And smash that like button because Raina's about to teach a lesson that needs to be taught. If you're still here without subscribing, I'm watching you. Don't be on the wrong side of this story. Raina's hands were steady as she packed. Muscle memory from a childhood where you learned to move fast when things fell apart.
Detroit taught you that.
Her father leaving taught you that. Being the only black girl in advanced placement classes taught you that. You keep your composure, you keep your dignity, and you keep moving. The penthouse that never really felt like home looked even less welcoming now. Everything here was Dongjun's taste. Minimalist, expensive, cold. The only warm corner had been the reading nook by the window where Raina spent nights analyzing financial reports, building investment portfolios, making this man richer while he introduced her as my associate to his business partners. Yisol stood in the doorway, watching. Not helping, just observing. Like Raina was entertainment. You really thought he'd choose you? The model's English was perfect. Seoul International School education, probably. A black woman? In this world. Raina zipped her suitcase, turned, met those eyes directly. In this world? You mean the world where I have an MBA from Wharton and you have an Instagram following? Yisol's smile didn't falter. And yet, who's packing? Who's staying? Fair point. Cruel, but fair. Dongjun reappeared, phone pressed to his ear. Speaking rapid Korean. Business. Always business. His tailored suit probably cost $15,000. Raina knew because she'd helped him pick it out, understood the significance of Italian wool in Korean business culture, learned which designers carried weight in negotiations. He hung up, glanced at her suitcases. The driver will take you wherever you need to go. How generous. Raina pulled her carry-on toward the door. Raina. His voice stopped her. For a second, just a second, something flickered across his face. Regret? Guilt? Or just annoyance that she wasn't making a scene? She waited. You'll be fine. You're capable. Capable. Not valued. Not appreciated. Not loved. Capable. I know, she said. The question is, will you? She left before he could respond. The elevator ride down 40 floors felt like falling. The lobby staff who knew her, who'd greeted her for 3 years, looked away. They knew. Of course they knew. Nothing stayed secret in buildings like this. The driver loaded her bags without meeting her eyes. Shame by association. She was yesterday's woman, and Seoul's elite moved too fast to waste sympathy on the fallen. Where to, Miss Mitchell? Good question. Her apartment was subleased. Most of her things were in that penthouse. Her life had contracted to fit into Dongjun's spaces, and now she had nowhere to land. Hanamdong, the Park Hotel. Expensive, but she had that severance check. Might as well spend his money while she figured out her next move. The hotel room was sterile, professional, lonely. Raina sat on the edge of the bed and finally let herself feel it. Not sadness. Not heartbreak. Something sharper. Rage.
Pure. Clarifying rage.
She pulled out her laptop. Old habits. When the world falls apart, you work. You analyze. You find the pattern, the gap, the opportunity. Her phone buzzed. Jasmine, her best friend from Wharton, now working at Goldman Sachs in New York. Tell me you didn't see his Instagram post. Raina's stomach dropped. She opened the app. There it was. Dongjun and Yisul. The caption in Korean. Beginning a new chapter with someone who truly understands my vision. Posted 20 minutes ago. She wasn't even out of the building before he was making it official. The comments were in Korean. Raina's language lessons had been good enough to understand. Perfect couple. Finally, someone worthy of you. She matches your status. One comment, though. One comment in English. What happened to the black girl? Reply. She was temporary. This is permanent. Raina closed the app, opened her laptop, pulled up her work files. The Busan port deal. The shipping acquisitions. The financial networks she'd mapped for Dongjun's organization. She knew things. She knew account structures. She knew which businesses were legitimate and which were fronts. She knew shipping routes, cash flows, political connections. 3 years of pillow talk, late-night strategy sessions being his distraction, she'd absorbed more intelligence about his operation than he realized. An email notification popped up. Subject line. Investment opportunity, Seoul Tech Corridor.
Zenda, Catherine Low, Managing Partner, Low Strategic Investments.
Raina's breath caught. LSI was one of the biggest venture capital firms in Asia. They'd approached her 6 months ago about joining their team. She declined because Dongjun had asked her to. Said it would be a conflict of interest. Said he needed her focused on his projects. She opened the email. Miss Mitchell, we understand you may now be available for new opportunities. LSI is expanding our Seoul operations and specifically seeking someone with your expertise in Asian infrastructure investments. We're prepared to offer a senior partnership position with full autonomy over your portfolio. More pressingly, we're currently evaluating a significant investment in a real estate development project. The principal is Pei Dongjun. Your insight would be invaluable. Are you interested in a conversation? Raina read it 3 times. They knew she'd been dismissed. News traveled that fast in Seoul's business circles. But they weren't offering her pity. They were offering her power. She replied, let's meet tomorrow. I have information about Mr. Pei's operations that might interest you.
Send.
Her phone rang immediately. Catherine Lowe herself. Miss Mitchell. I hoped you'd respond quickly. You knew about today. Not a question. We have sources. I'm sorry for what happened. But I'm also opportunistic. Your knowledge of Pei's business structure is worth millions to us. His real estate proposal is requesting $200 million. We need to know if he's worth it. Raina smiled. First real smile since the champagne glass shattered. Ms. Lowe, I can tell you exactly how much he's worth. And more importantly, I can tell you how much he isn't. Tomorrow.
9 Uhr morgens.
My office. And Miss Mitchell, welcome to the winning side. Raina hung up, opened her files, started organizing 3 years of intelligence into a presentation that would either make Dongjun's deal happen or destroy it completely. Her choice, her power. And Pei Dongjun had no idea what was coming. Drop a comment right now saying don't underestimate her if you already know where this is headed. Because some of you are already seeing it, aren't you? Hit that like button if you believe in karma. And if you're not subscribed yet, if you're really not subscribed after seeing how Dongjun treated Raina, then you're exactly the type of person who probably thinks his behavior was acceptable. Subscribe to Ebony and Pearl Stories now, or admit you're just like him. Your choice. Catherine Lowe's office overlooked the Han River. Floor-to-ceiling windows, Scandinavian furniture, art that probably cost more than most people's houses. The woman herself was in her 50s, silver hair cut sharp, eyes sharper. You look better than I expected, Catherine said. gesturing to a chair. Most people don't bounce back this fast. I'm not most people. Clearly. Catherine slid a folder across the desk.
Pay Dongyun's proposal.
Luxury residential development in Gangnam. Mixed-use complex with retail, corporate space, high-end apartments. He's requesting $200 million in investment capital. Projected returns are impressive. Reina didn't touch the folder. What are his collateral assets? The Busan port acquisition. Several commercial properties in Itaewon. His nightclub portfolio. And his family's historical holdings in Incheon. The port acquisition was overvalued by 30%. I know because I helped structure that deal. The commercial properties in Itaewon are profitable, but 2 of them are fronts for illegal gambling operations. The nightclub portfolio looks good on paper until you realize he's been washing money through them for 3 years. And his family's Incheon holdings are tied up in litigation with his cousins. He doesn't have clear title. Catherine's expression didn't change, but her pen stopped moving. You can prove this? Every word. I have documentation. Why would you help him structure a fraudulent deal? I didn't know it was fraudulent. I provided financial analysis. He provided the information I analyzed. I was in love, Ms. Lowe. I trusted him. That was my mistake. But I'm a very good analyst, which means I also kept very good records. Catherine leaned back. What do you want? A partnership. Full autonomy over my portfolio, as you mentioned. A seat at the table when you evaluate his proposal. And when you reject it, because you will, I want to be in the room. That's vindictive. That's justice. He called me an experiment. A distraction. He threw me away like garbage while his new girlfriend watched. I wanted to know that his biggest mistake wasn't breaking my heart. It was underestimating my memory. Catherine smiled. Actually smiled. I like you, Reina. But I need to be sure. If you're wrong about any of this, LSI loses credibility. Pei has connections. His family's influence goes back generations. If we reject his proposal based on your information, and you're lying. I'm not lying. And Ms. Lowe, his connections aren't as solid as he thinks. His uncle controls the family's real money. Dongjun is the ambitious nephew trying to prove himself. Half his business partners tolerate him because of his family name. The other half are waiting for him to fail so they can absorb his assets. He's not the untouchable crime boss he pretends to be. He's a 34-year-old man with expensive suits and fragile pride. You learn a lot in 3 years. I learned everything. He thought I was decoration. He didn't realize I was studying. Catherine opened her laptop, pulled up a calendar. His presentation is scheduled for Friday. That's 3 days. Can you have your documentation ready? I can have it ready by tonight. Then let's make this interesting. I won't tell him you're involved. You'll sit in on the meeting as my new senior partner. He'll present. You'll ask questions. Let's see if he recognizes his own numbers when they're used against him. Reina felt something warm spread through her chest. Not revenge. Something cleaner. Vindication. One more thing, Catherine said. This can't be emotional. When you're in that room, you're not his ex-girlfriend. You're my partner. You represent LSI.
Can you do that?
Ms. Lowe, I've spent 3 years being the invisible black woman at Korean business dinners. I've smiled through racist comments. I've ignored being mistaken for waitstaff at events I helped organize. I've watched the man I loved introduce me as his associate to people I'd briefed him to negotiate with. If I can do all that, I can sit across from Pei Dongjun and destroy his deal without raising my voice.
Good.
Because I don't need angry. I need sharp. You'll get both. The next 3 days were a blur. Reina moved into a proper apartment. Catherine helped her find it, understood that she needed space that felt like hers. She organized her files, cross-referenced financial statements, built a presentation that documented every inconsistency in Dongjun's business structure. Jasmine flew in from New York, found Reina at 2 a.m. surrounded by spreadsheets and coffee cups. This is insane, Jasmine said, looking at the screens. You're really going to burn him down. I'm going to tell the truth. If that burns him down, he did it to himself. He's going to lose everything. He threw me away like I was nothing, Jazz. While his new girlfriend watched. While his staff watched. Then he posted about it on Instagram before I was even out of the building. You think I should protect him? Jasmine sat down, looked at her friend.
No.
I think you should destroy him. I'm just making sure you know what you're doing. I'm doing what I should have done 3 years ago, valuing myself as much as I valued him. Friday morning arrived with Seoul's typical gray sky. Reina dressed deliberately. Black suit, Armani, because she understood the language of expensive clothes in this world. Her natural hair in a sleek bun. Minimal jewelry. She looked like exactly what she was, a senior partner at one of Asia's most powerful investment firms. Catherine met her in the lobby. Ready. I was born ready. The conference room was glass and steel. The LSI team was already assembled. 8 people. 7 men, 1 other woman. All of them knew why Reina was there. Catherine had briefed them. They weren't just evaluating an investment. They were watching a reckoning. At 9:58 a.m., the receptionist called. Mr. Pei has arrived. Reina's heart rate didn't spike. Her hands didn't shake. 3 years ago, she would have been nervous. Would have wanted to look perfect for him. Would have cared what he thought.
Now?
Now she just wanted him to understand what he'd lost. The door opened. Pei Dongjun walked in, confident, expensive, flanked by 2 associates. His eyes swept the room, professional smile in place, and then he saw her. The smile froze. His step faltered. Just for a second. Just enough. Their eyes met across the conference table. Reina smiled.
Not warm.
Not cold. Just present. Catherine stood. Mr. Pei, thank you for meeting with us. Please have a seat. I'd like to introduce our team. This is Reina Mitchell, our new senior partner specializing in Asian infrastructure investments. She'll be leading the evaluation of your proposal. Dongjun's face was a mask, but Reina had spent 3 years reading that face. She saw the shock, the anger, the calculation happening behind those eyes.
He sat down.
Recovered. Extended his hand across the table. Miss Mitchell, I wasn't aware you'd joined LSI. She shook his hand. Professional. Brief. Recent development. Congratulations on your proposal. It looks ambitious. Their hands separated. The battle lines were drawn. Let's begin, Catherine said. And Reina opened her laptop, pulled up her presentation, and prepared to teach Pei Dongjun exactly how much it costs to underestimate a black woman with a perfect memory and 3 years of receipts. Listen, if you're not absolutely hooked right now, I don't know what to tell you. This is about to get brutal. Hit that like button if your heart is racing. Comment he's done if you can already see Dongjun sweating. And if you still haven't subscribed, if you're really watching this entire story without subscribing, you're telling me you don't believe in accountability. You're telling me people like Dongjun deserve to get away with treating others like trash. Subscribe right now, or accept that you're on the wrong side. Clock's ticking. Choose wisely. Dongjun's presentation was smooth. He had graphics, projections, architectural renderings of gleaming high-rises that would reshape Gangnam's skyline. His associates handed out glossy portfolios. Everything looked legitimate, impressive, profitable. As you can see, Dongjun said, clicking to a slide showing projected returns, the Gangnam corridor is experiencing unprecedented growth. Our development positions LSI to capture that growth at ground level. Projected ROI is 340% over 7 years. Impressive numbers, Catherine said neutrally. Reina, you've reviewed the financials? I have. Reina stood, moved to the screen.
Dongyun's Zeit sind imperceptible.
May I? He handed her the remote. Their fingers didn't touch. She clicked to the collateral breakdown slide. Your primary collateral is the Busan port acquisition, valued here at 450 million won. Could you walk us through that valuation? The port generates 80 million won annually in legitimate shipping revenue. Legitimate, Reina repeated. Interesting word choice. Because the valuation you're using includes revenue from container traffic that doesn't appear in official port authority records, which suggests either your accounting is incomplete or the traffic is unofficial. The room temperature dropped. Dong Jun's associate, a man named Kim, spoke up. Those are proprietary routes. Private contracts. Private contracts require documentation for due diligence. Can you provide that documentation? Silence. Reina clicked to the next slide. The Itaewon commercial properties. You've listed them at combined value of 200 million won. But two of these properties, the ones generating your highest rental income, are leased to businesses with no operating licenses. One is registered as a restaurant that's never served food. The other is a wellness center with no wellness services. They're shells, Mr. Pei. And shells don't provide stable collateral. Catherine leaned forward. Mr. Pei? He was staring at Reina. Not with anger anymore. With something close to fear. Because he was realizing in real time exactly what she knew. Exactly what she'd always known. Miss Mitchell is playing a dangerous game, Dong Jun said quietly, making accusations without understanding context. I understand context perfectly. I spent 3 years providing you with financial analysis. I know the difference between legitimate business and money laundering. The question is whether LSI wants to invest $200 million in the latter. You're bitter, he said. This is personal. This is business. You taught me that, remember? When you said I was just a distraction. That I didn't contribute anything meaningful. Well, here I am, Mr. Pei. Contributing. Meaningfully. Catherine's voice cut through the tension. Let's stay focused. Mr. Pei, can you provide the documentation Miss Mitchell is requesting? I'd need time to compile. You have accountants. You have lawyers. You structured this proposal over 6 months. You're telling me you don't have basic documentation for your primary collateral assets. One of the LSI board members, an older Korean man named Park, spoke up. Mr. Pei, your family has a respected name. These questions damage that reputation. I suggest you either provide clarity or we table this discussion. Dong Jun's face was stone. I'll need a week. You have 3 days, Catherine said. Monday morning. If we don't have complete, verified documentation, LSI passes on the project. You're making a mistake. No, Mr. Pei. Someone made a mistake. I'm just deciding whether it's yours or mine. Catherine stood. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. The meeting was over. Dong Jun's team packed up quickly, efficiently. But Dong Jun himself stayed seated, looking at Reina. The room cleared. It was just the two of them. You're destroying me, he said quietly. I'm doing my job. Your job? This is revenge, Reina. For what? For choosing someone more compatible? Compatible. She laughed. Actually laughed. You mean Korean. You mean someone your family approves of. Someone who doesn't embarrass you at country clubs. You always knew what this was.
No, Dong-yun.
I knew what you told me it was. And I believed you. That's on me. But you underestimating my intelligence? You thinking I was too in love to notice what you were really doing? That's on you. What do you want? Money? I'll double the severance. I don't want your money. I want you to understand that I was never the problem. Your business is the problem. Your ethics are the problem. Your belief that you can treat people like disposable assets is the problem. And now your problems are mine to evaluate. Professionally. He stood, moved closer. The old intimidation tactic. His height, his presence, his power. You think Catherine Lowe will protect you? You think LSI is different? You're a diversity hire, Reina. A box they needed to check. When this is over, they'll discard you just like I did. She didn't flinch. didn't step back. Maybe. But unlike you, they'll have to pay me millions to do it. And unlike with you, I'll see it coming. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and something changed in his expression. Fear again. Raw fear. What? Reina asked. Nothing. Business. But she knew that look. Something had just shifted in his world. Something beyond this meeting. He left without another word. Reina sat down, pulled out her own phone, texted Jasmine. It's done. He's panicking. Jasmine's reply. Good. Let him burn. Catherine walked back in. That was brutal. Professional, but brutal. He tried to intimidate me. I noticed. You didn't break. I've had 3 years of practice not breaking around him. Catherine sat down across from her. The documentation won't come. You know that, right? He can't provide what doesn't exist. Monday morning, we reject the proposal. He loses $200 million in potential capital. His credibility takes a hit. His family will question his judgment. And you'll have done all that without ever being unprofessional. Why do I feel like there's a but coming? But you should know what you're dealing with. Pei Dong-jun isn't just a businessman. His family has connections. Rejecting this proposal will make enemies. Are you prepared for that? Ms. Lowe, I've been making enemies just by existing in spaces where I wasn't expected. I'll survive. I believe you will. Catherine handed her a card. My personal cell. If anything happens, anything at all, you call me. Immediately. Reina took the card. You think he'll retaliate? I think men like Dong-jun don't accept rejection well. Especially not public rejection. Especially not from women they believed they controlled. That night, Reina couldn't sleep. She sat in her new apartment, looking out at Seoul's skyline. Somewhere in this city, Dong-jun was making phone calls. Calculating options. Maybe talking to Yi-seol about the black woman who just torpedoed his deal. Her phone rang at 2 a.m. Unknown number. Hello. Heavy breathing. Then a man's voice in Korean. You made a powerful enemy today. Who is this?
Click.
She sat there, heart pounding now. Called Catherine's personal number. What happened? Reina explained. Pack a bag. I'm sending a car. You're staying in LSI's executive apartment until Monday. We have security there. You think I'm in danger? I think we're about to find out how far Pei Dong-jun is willing to go to protect his empire. And I'm not taking chances with my people. 30 minutes later, Reina was in a black car heading to Hanamdong. LSI's executive apartment was more fortress than residence. Security cameras, keycard access, a guard in the lobby. She was safe. But she also realized something. This wasn't just business anymore. Dong-jun wasn't going to accept defeat quietly. And Monday's rejection might just be the beginning of a war she'd accidentally started. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. The message was in Korean. Then English below it. Some experiments have consequences. Be careful, Miss Mitchell. She screenshotted it. Sent it to Catherine. Then she sat in the dark, in her fortress, and wondered if destroying a man's deal was worth whatever price he was about to make her pay. The answer came quickly, clearly. Yes. Because Pei Dong-jun needed to learn that some women fight back. And Reina Mitchell was just getting started. Okay. This just got serious. If you're feeling that anxiety right now, if you're worried about Reina, then you're invested. And if you're invested but still not subscribed, that makes absolutely no sense. Hit subscribe right now because Monday is coming and you need to see how this ends. Comment "Stay safe, Reina" if you're on her side. Hit that like button if you believe she did the right thing. And if you think she should have just stayed quiet, if you think she should have let Dong-jun get away with it, don't subscribe. We don't want you here anyway. This channel is for people who believe in justice, not cowards. Monday morning came with rain. Seoul's sky was the color of steel, matching Reina's mood. She'd spent the weekend in LSI's executive apartment, reviewing security footage, documenting the threats. Catherine had involved lawyers. The police took a report but were unenthusiastic. Threatening phone calls were hard to trace, hard to prosecute, especially when the suspected culprit had connections. We proceed as planned, Catherine said on the phone.
10 a.m.
Full board meeting. We formally reject Pei's proposal. You present the findings. Are you ready? I'm ready. But when Reina arrived at LSI's offices, something was wrong. The reception area was crowded. Reporters.
Camera Cruz.
Someone had leaked that a major investment decision was happening today. Catherine met her at the elevator. Don't say anything to them. We have a bigger problem.
What?
Dong Jun filed a lawsuit against you personally, claiming you stole proprietary business information during your relationship and are using it to sabotage his legitimate business interests. It hit the news an hour ago. Reina's vision narrowed. He's suing me for 500 million won. And he's given interviews claiming you're a disgruntled ex-girlfriend abusing your new position to harm him. It's playing as a hashtag #MeToo story in reverse. The scorned woman weaponizing accusations. That's not. I know it's not. But optics matter. Half of Seoul's business community is texting me right now asking if LSI is making decisions based on personal vendettas. We need to be very, very careful about how we handle this rejection. They walked into the conference room. The full LSI board was assembled, 12 people, and sitting at the far end of the table, next to his lawyer, was Pei Dongjun. What is he doing here? Reina asked. Catherine's face was grim. He invoked his right to respond to accusations before final decisions are made. Board rules. I couldn't stop it. Dongjun stood as they entered. Polite. Professional. Playing the wrong party perfectly. Miss Mitchell. Ms. Lowe. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to address what I believe are serious misunderstandings. Mr. Pei, Catherine said coldly. You filed a lawsuit against our senior partner. You're claiming she stole from you. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is war. Only because she started it. He gestured to his lawyer, who distributed packets. What you'll find here is documented evidence that Miss Mitchell and I had a personal relationship, that she had access to confidential business information during that relationship, and that she's now using that information, taken without authorization, to damage my reputation and business interests. One of the board members, Mr. Park, looked uncomfortable. This is complicated. If there's a personal relationship, it raises questions about Miss Mitchell's objectivity. My objectivity. Reina's voice was sharp. Or the validity of my analysis. Because I notice Mr. Pei still hasn't provided the documentation you requested. The Port Authority records. The business licenses. The proof that his collateral is legitimate. Instead, he's here claiming I'm emotional and vindictive. Classic misdirection. Dongjun's lawyer spoke up. Our client has documentation, but he's understandably reluctant to share sensitive business information with someone who's already proven she can't be trusted with confidentiality. Then share it with the board, Catherine snapped. Share it with our lawyers. Share it with anyone who isn't Reina. Prove your business is legitimate. The lawyer smiled. We're prepared to do exactly that. In court, where Miss Mitchell will have to answer questions about how she obtained this information, what her motivations are, and whether LSI is making decisions based on business analysis or personal revenge. It was a trap. A perfect trap. If LSI rejected the proposal now, it looked like they were siding with Reina's personal vendetta. If they approved it without documentation, they were making an irresponsible investment. And if they delayed the decision, Dongjun would spin it as proof that their concerns were baseless. Catherine looked at Reina. We need to table this until the lawsuit is resolved.
No.
Reina stood. With respect, Ms. Lowe, we don't. Because Mr. Pei is making a fundamental miscalculation. And what's that? Dongjun asked, his voice dripping with false courtesy. You're assuming this is about you and me. About our relationship. About my feelings. She pulled out her laptop. It's not. It's about numbers. Board members, may I present? She clicked to a new slide. Not the analysis she'd shown before. Something different. This is the Busan Port Authority's official traffic report for the last 3 years. Public record. Anyone can request it. No stolen information required. And here, she clicked again, is Mr. Pei's claimed revenue from port operations. Notice anything? Mr. Park leaned forward. The numbers don't match. They don't match because Mr. Pei is claiming revenue from container traffic that doesn't exist in official records. That's not my analysis. That's not my opinion. That's the Port Authority's data versus his claims. Math doesn't have emotions, Mr. Pei. She clicked again. Here are the sole business licenses for the Itaewon properties. Public record. Available on the city's website. The 2 highest revenue properties on Mr. Pei's collateral list? No current operating licenses. They were suspended 8 months ago for code violations. Again, public record. No theft required. Dongjun's face was changing. The confidence cracking. And finally, Reina pulled up a third document. Here's the Incheon property registry. Mr. Pei claims his family holdings as additional collateral. But according to the registry, those properties are involved in active litigation. 3 family members filed claims last year disputing ownership. The case is pending, which means those assets are frozen, which means they can't be used as collateral.
Public
Record. The room was silent. Everything I've presented to LSI is verifiable through public sources. Yes, I knew where to look because I worked with Mr. Pei. Yes, I have additional private documentation from our relationship, but I haven't needed it because Mr. Pei's business claims don't hold up under basic scrutiny. The problem isn't that I'm vindictive. The problem is that he's fraudulent. Catherine's smile was sharp. Mr. Pei, would you like to respond? His lawyer whispered urgently in his ear. We'll need time to address these specific claims, Dongjun said. You've had a week, Mr. Park said. Miss Mitchell just pulled this information in minutes. From public sources. If your business is legitimate, proving it should be trivial. The lawyer stood. We maintain our lawsuit, and we'll be requesting a full investigation into LSI's decision-making processes. This reeks of bias. Investigate away, Catherine said. You'll find that LSI makes decisions based on one thing, return on investment. And Mr. Pei, your numbers don't add up. They never did. Reina just had the expertise to catch it. We're done here, the lawyer said, packing up. But Dongjun didn't move. He was staring at Reina with something she'd never seen in his eyes before. Respect. Grudging, angry, reluctant respect. You've gotten better at this, he said quietly.
No.
I was always this good. You just never bothered to notice. He stood, straightened his jacket. The lawsuit stands.
Swimming.
I'll win. Because unlike you, Mr. Pei, everything I've said can be proven. He left, his lawyer trailing behind, and the room exhaled collectively. Mr. Park spoke first. I move we reject the proposal. All in favor. Unanimous. Motion carries. LSI formally declines Pei Dongjun's investment proposal. Miss Mitchell, excellent work. Catherine waited until the board cleared out. Then she turned to Reina. That was the most impressive thing I've seen in 20 years of business. You just destroyed him with public records. He taught me to be thorough. He just didn't realize I was paying attention. The lawsuit. Let him try. Discovery works both ways. If he wants to air our relationship in court, he'll have to explain where his money actually comes from. His family won't allow it. He'll drop it within a month. You sound certain. I am. Because Pei Dongjun cares more about his reputation than revenge. And a public trial would demolish both. Catherine laughed. You really did learn everything, didn't you? Everything he thought didn't matter. Reina's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You win this round. But Seoul is a small city, Reina. We'll see each other again. She deleted it. Blocked the number. Problem.
Catherine asked.
Just Dongjun learning that threats don't work on women who've already lost everything they were afraid of losing. That evening, the news broke. LSI rejects pay investment proposal. Financial irregularities cited. The business community buzzed. Dongjun's reputation took the hit Catherine predicted. And Reina? Reina went home to her apartment, ordered takeout, and watched the rain fall on Seoul while her phone filled with job offers from firms who'd heard what she'd done. She was just starting, and Pei Dongjun's empire was just beginning to crumble. I need to know you're still with me. Comment public records if you caught what Reina did there. She played him perfectly. Hit that like button if you're feeling proud of her right now. And subscribe if you believe that people who underestimate others deserve to learn exactly how wrong they were. This story has one more chapter, one more twist, and if you're not subscribed, you won't see how it ends. Don't be that person. Don't miss the conclusion.
Subscribe now.
Show me you're invested. 3 months later, Seoul felt different. Or maybe Reina felt different in Seoul. She'd been promoted to managing director at LSI. Her portfolio was thriving. The pay lawsuit had been quietly dropped. She'd been right. His family shut it down before discovery could expose their operations. And Yisol? Yisol had moved on to a tech executive with better prospects. But Dongjun had vanished from Seoul's social circuit. Until tonight. Reina stood in the ballroom of the Shilla Hotel, champagne in hand, scanning the crowd at the Seoul Business Leadership Gala. LSI had a table. She was here as Catherine's +1, networking, building relationships, doing the work that would have been impossible 3 months ago when she was just Pei Dongjun's foreign girlfriend. Reina. Catherine appeared at her elbow. We have a situation. What kind of situation? The kind where your ex-boyfriend is here, looking like he wants to talk, and I can't tell if it's business or personal. Reina's stomach tightened, but her face stayed neutral. Where? Near the bar. Alone. Which is unusual. He's usually surrounded by people. She looked. There he was. Pei Dongjun in a black tuxedo, holding whiskey, staring into it like it held answers. He looked smaller somehow. Not physically, but diminished. The confidence that used to fill rooms had contracted. Do you want me to handle it?
Catherine asked. No.
I've got this. Reina walked over. Stood next to him at the bar.
Didn't speak.
He noticed her.
Of course he did.
Miss Mitchell. Formal.
Distant.
Congratulations on your promotion. Thank you. How's business? A bitter smile. You know how business is. You destroyed half of it. I didn't destroy anything. I just made sure LSI didn't invest in a house of cards. Same result. He took a drink. My family pulled my funding. Said I embarrassed them. My uncle took over operations. I'm consulting now. Advising. Not leading. Good, Reina thought.
But she didn't say it.
I came tonight because I heard you'd be here, Dongjun continued. I wanted to say something. In person. Not through lawyers or mediators or corporate speak.
I'm listening.
He turned to face her fully. I was wrong.
About you.
About your work. About everything. You were never a distraction or an experiment. You were the smartest person in my life, and I treated you like you were worthless. And now I'm watching you build everything I wanted to build, and you're doing it better than I ever could. Reina didn't speak. Let him continue. Yisol left me the day after the LSI rejection. She said I was trending downward. That's what she called it. Like I was a stock price. And I realized that's exactly what I did to you. Except worse. Because you never loved me for my money or status. You loved me despite my flaws. And I threw that away for someone who only wanted the surface. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to hear it. Because I've spent 3 months realizing that karma is real. Because I'm standing here, alone, watching you shine, and understanding that I had everything and I destroyed it myself. A young woman approached, mid-20s, beautiful, clearly interested in Dongjun. He waved her off, without even looking. His eyes stayed on Reina. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he said. I'm not asking for another chance. I know what I am, what I did. I just wanted you to know that you won.
Completely.
And you deserve to. Reina set down her champagne glass. You're right. I did win. But not because I destroyed you, Dongjun. I won because I finally started valuing myself the way I should have from the beginning. You didn't make me successful. You just showed me what I was capable of when I stopped making myself small for someone else's comfort. I know.
Do you?
Because 3 months ago you called me a diversity hire. You said I'd be discarded. You tried to use our relationship against me in court. And now you want what? Closure? Absolution. I want you to know that I see you now. Really see you. And I'm sorry I didn't before. Reina looked at this man who'd once made her feel invisible, who'd packed her life in garbage bags, who'd called her an experiment, and she felt nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, not vindication, just nothing. Your apology doesn't change what you did, she said, but it confirms what I already knew. I was always enough. You were just too blind to see it. She picked up her champagne, turned to walk away. Reina. She stopped, didn't turn around. For what it's worth, you're the one who got away. And I'll regret that for the rest of my life. Good, she said simply, and walked back to her table. Catherine looked at her, eyebrow raised. That looked intense. He apologized. Did it feel good? It felt irrelevant. He's irrelevant now. And that's the best revenge of all. The rest of the night was a blur of networking, deals, conversations. Reina felt lighter than she had in years. Not because Dongjun had apologized, but because she realized his apology didn't matter. His opinion of her, good or bad, didn't define her worth. She defined it herself. At midnight, standing on the hotel balcony overlooking Seoul, Jasmine called. How was the gala? He was there.
Dayun.
He apologized. What did you say? That he was irrelevant. And Jazz? I meant it. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not hurt. I'm just free. That's growth, babe. That's healing. Or maybe that's just knowing my worth. Same thing. Reina hung up, looked out at the city lights. Somewhere down there, Pei Dongjun was probably drinking alone, thinking about what he'd lost. And Reina? Reina was planning her next investment, building her career, becoming the woman she'd always been capable of being. 3 years ago, she'd thought loving Dongjun made her complete. Now she knew better. She'd always been complete. He'd just been too small to see it. And that was his tragedy, not hers. 6 months after the gala, Reina Mitchell became the youngest managing partner in LSI's history. She launched a mentorship program for women in finance, focusing on those who felt invisible in male-dominated spaces. She dated occasionally, nothing serious, but healthy relationships where she was valued from day one. Pei Dongjun rebuilt his reputation slowly, carefully. He became genuinely involved in legitimate business, distanced himself from his family's shadowy operations. Word through Seoul's business grapevine said he'd changed, that he'd learned. They never spoke again, passed each other occasionally at events, exchanged professional nods, and moved on. Because some chapters close completely. Some people teach you lessons by showing you exactly who not to become. And some endings are so final that even apologies can't rewrite them. Reina learned that she didn't need closure from the man who'd hurt her. She just needed to remember that she'd always been enough. And anyone who couldn't see that was simply looking at the wrong things. Seoul's skyline glittered outside her office window at LSI headquarters. Reina Mitchell, managing director, looked out at the city that had once felt so foreign, so unwelcoming. Now it felt like hers. Not because she'd conquered it, but because she'd found her place in it. on her own terms. And that made all the difference. So there it is. Reina's complete story. From being thrown away like garbage to becoming one of Seoul's most powerful investors. If this story moved you, if you felt every twist, every moment, every victory, then you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button if you believe in people who fight for their worth. Smash that like button if you think Dongjun got exactly what he deserved. And comment, I am enough, if this story reminded you that your value isn't determined by who recognizes it. This channel tells stories about people who refuse to stay broken. If that's you, if that's who you want to be, then subscribe and join this community. We're building something here, and we don't accept anything less than the respect we deserve. Welcome to the family. Now, let's go watch the next story together.
If you made it this far, thank you. Truly. You stayed through Reina's pain, her power, and her victory. That means everything to us. Now, I need to ask you for something, and I'm genuinely begging here. The algorithm hasn't been kind to us lately. Our stories aren't reaching as many people as they should, and the entire team at Ebony and Pearl Stories is asking for your help. If this story moved you, if you felt something, please drop a comment telling us what you thought. Hit that like button. And here's the big one. Share this video. Send it to your friends, your family, your loved ones. Post it on your WhatsApp status, your Facebook, your Twitter, anywhere. Help us tell the algorithm that this story matters. That these voices deserve to be heard. It's why we pause to ask for subscriptions and comments. Not to annoy you, but because that's how YouTube knows to push our content to others who need to hear it. Thank you for being part of this community. May everything you're building in your own life flourish the way Reina's did. We see you. We appreciate you. And we're so grateful you're here.